to kind of invent it. If you like the person, then you start considering it too much, whereas if you don't really care about it.
Cary Grant was only beautiful on the outside, but in it he was a terrifying and selfish man no one wanted to face. These words were the final crushing blow from Lee Marvin, the silver screen cowboy, who had made all of Hollywood wary through the Dirty Dozen. Throughout his career, Marvin was known for his bluntness, unafraid to expose the dark secrets and hidden tricks of the film industry. That is why, before his death, he decided to reveal the shocking truth about Cary Grant, the model gentleman the world once worshipped. According to Marvin, behind his charming smile and handsome exterior, Grant was a distant, cold figure and was homosexual while living with Randolph Scott for 12 years. And he didn't stop at Grant. Marvin exposed many other arrogant male stars of Hollywood's golden age men who had annoyed him and fueled grudges for years. Lee Marvin was famous during Hollywood's golden age as a completely different figure, rough, cold, and carrying the weight of real battlefields, not the glamour of a constructed image. Audiences and colleagues always saw him as the last man of a tough generation. He carried the shadow of war, physical scars, and invisible cracks in his character. Having faced death, he had no patience for deceit, the secret foundation of Hollywood. On set, if he saw anyone lying or deliberately pressuring others, he would stand up and shatter the silence that hung over the film world. During a stunt scene shoot on The Dirty Dozen, Marvin noticed a producer trying to force a stuntman to perform a dangerous stunt without safety. He immediately stepped onto the set, removed his gloves, and roared, "No one dies for your profit." The entire crew froze. The producer turned red, and Marvin walked away. Many disliked him, but everyone feared him. The fear came from not being able to deceive a man who had stared straight into the battlefield. He caused controversy when he publicly criticized a famous director for repeatedly insulting female actors on set. Others stayed silent, but Marvin stepped forward, threw a burning cigarette to the floor, and told the director that if he insulted anyone again, Marvin would walk off the film immediately, taking half the cast with him. In his later years, as his health began to decline, Marvin started writing. Initially, just scattered notes, things that angered him. People he had witnessed being crushed in the massive grind of the entertainment industry, and legendary names, dazzling icons, with shadows, cruelty, and ambition behind them. Gradually, these pages turned into a diary, not for revenge, but to express what he could not fully say while alive. For Marvin, truth was not a weapon, it was a burden. He wrote to release it from his chest, and as if each line helped him breathe a little easier. He locked the diary in an iron chest by his bed, with a single note: "When I am gone, let it defend itself." When Marvin died, most of Hollywood breathed a sigh of relief, believing the storm of bluntness had finally ended. But those who knew of the diary could not sleep, fearing that one day the truth Marvin left behind would spill out cold, sharp, like the man himself. And it was in this shadow of doubt that the name Cary Grant appeared, glittering and vague, like a beautiful lie Hollywood had nurtured for decades. Marvin did not hate Grant. He just didn't trust the perfect gentleman image imposed by the screen. He always said, "The more a man is praised, the more I want to know what he is hiding. These were the months Marvin began writing more about Grant. Not in a prying way, but as someone who saw the cracks in the stone statue that the industry worshiped. And in 2025, Marvin's final diary revelations about Cary Grant were leaked. The trembling pages began with notes about Grant's sexuality, a subject the press had whispered about for years. Marvin quoted lines he had read somewhere. Grant publicly admitted that each of his ex-wives accused him of being homosexual. He noted that Grant had lived with Randolph Scott for 12 years, vague publicity photos, and Vanity Fair articles that fueled speculation, and firmly asserted that Cary Grant was gay. According to Marvin's notes, Rand and Randolph Scott were not just housemates. He described moments when they appeared together, their eyes soft yet restrained, the way they stood too close, the long silences between them that only those who had loved could understand. In Marvin's eyes there was no ambiguity. They looked at each other as if the world contained only the two of them, he wrote. For Marvin, this was neither rumor nor the delusion of an observer. It was a truth Hollywood deliberately avoided. Marvin also recalled the night he saw Grant sitting alone at the end of the lot, yellow lights casting a heartbreakingly beautiful glow on his face. Grant's shoulders heavy, said he had never been allowed to live as the man he truly was. Marvin did not record the entire conversation, only what was painful enough. Not to forget Grant's hands trembling when mentioning Scott, and the hollow look that made Marvin understand this was a man who had loved in a forbidden way, lived in a forbidden way. From that moment, Marvin was certain he had seen the truth Grant had hidden all his life. During a lunch break, Grant laughed gently, with everyone softening the crew, but when they left, his face fell for a fleeting moment. A man can only act like that if there is something he wants to hide inside, Marvin recalled the 1980 incident when Chevy Chase said a homo about Cary Grant on television. Marvin described Grant, at that moment, a tense face, eyes flashing with anger and hurt. Not from personal pride, but because Hollywood had forced him to live as a perfect image. To Marvin, Grant's fierce reaction was proof of the loneliness and inner struggle of a man who always had to hide the truth about himself. Marvin wrote that Grant quickly sued Chase and settled out of court. He didn't see it as exposing or revenge. He clearly saw Grant defending the right to live as himself, at least publicly. Marvin's diary portrayed Cary as both fragile and fragile, in fear of being seen through strong in defending his image and privacy. Every reaction, every dazzling smile, every courteous gesture was Grant concealing a tragedy that Marvin, with his observant eye, could easily see. Beyond Randolph Scott, Cary Grant often displayed excessive charm toward many men around him. To Marvin, this was not merely friendly gestures. Grant seemed to enjoy flirting, attracting attention and care from male colleagues, a habit Marvin described as impossible to conceal. The glances, smiles, speech, and proximity all revealed the subtlety of his charm, performed naturally, almost effortlessly. Marvin said Grant did not need grand gestures. Just entering a room drew every eye. With young actors or new colleagues, Grant was polite, yet magnetic, and Marvin believed this was part of his true nature, not just for impression. He always knew how to make others feel noticed, but no one dared say it outright. Marvin wrote in the diary, and I saw it clearly. Though he drew no conclusions, these notes opened the dark space of a man trapped by an image he could not escape. He believed all of Cary Grant's misfortunes stemmed from childhood. Born in Bristol, England, as Archibald Leach, Grant grew up in a poor working-class family with an alcoholic father who left to live with another woman. Marvin saw in Grant's eyes the remnants of abandonment, the long nights the boy faced loneliness when his mother Elsie was institutionalized. When Grant was 9, he was lied to that his mother had died. "I lived my whole life not knowing where she was," Marvin wrote, "and that followed him like a ghost." At 30, Grant learned the truth and freed his mother from the institution. But their relationship remained tense, heavy, full of silent words and wary glances. Meanwhile, Grant's marriages seemed like a perfect shell to conceal his true habits. Marvin believed Grant married not for love, but to maintain public image, keep everything in order, and avoid press scrutiny. Each marriage, according to Marvin, was part of a plan to build the polished gentleman image exactly as audiences and Hollywood expected. In his first marriage to Virginia Cherrill, she accused Grant of abuse and possessiveness. The second marriage faltered when Barbara Hutton suspected him of chasing her money. Betsy Drake witnessed his obsessive pursuit of Sophia Loren. He mentioned Diane Cannon fights and descriptions of Grant as a violent husband. Marvin wrote, "Cary never hurt anyone out of malice. He did it because he didn't know how to love, didn't know how to forgive himself." One of the longest diary passages detailed what Marvin called Cary Grant's inner war. He analyzed Grant's perfectionism, his stress during Leo McCarey's improvisation on The Awful Truth set. Grant couldn't handle chaos, Marvin wrote. He feared losing control. People who fear losing control often have something in their lives collapse without anyone knowing. These words were not criticism, but compassion from someone who had seen too many men broken by the images they were forced to maintain. Because of all the pain in his life, Cary Grant used LSD as both weapon and medicine for healing his wounds. More than 100 times, Grant praised it. "At last, I am close to happiness, stripping away the false." He often used it on set, leading to conflicts with colleagues. Grant disliked Joan Fontaine, calling her a fathead. He found Mae West overly seductive. Michael Curtis and Billy Wilder were avoided because he feared ruining the perfect image. Marvin wrote, "Hollywood is not a place to live truthfully." Cary knew that early. Every anger, every cold gesture was a way of protecting himself. On the last page, Marvin wrote like a confession, "I do not hate Grant. I only saw clearly what he tried to hide. I saw the fragility in each smile, the heavy stone he had to bear to satisfy a world that did not accept the real person." Then he added a line, as if speaking to future readers. "Sometimes truth is not to expose someone, but to set them free." The terrifying thing was Marvin did not only write about Cary Grant in his diary. He listed a series of colleagues he could not tolerate, people whose Hollywood glamour could not hide Marvin's displeasure. At the top was Sam Peckinpah. Marvin had been invited to star in The Wild Bunch in 1960, a perfect script for his preferred violent style. But from the first days, Marvin and Peckinpah clashed fiercely over everything: shooting schedule, handling of violence, even actors' freedom. Peckinpah was notoriously difficult and an alcoholic, and Marvin hated being controlled. Ultimately, Marvin quit the role, calling Peckinpah crazy and declaring he would never collaborate again. Robert Ryan, Marvin's longtime friend, also disliked Peckinpah, but stayed on set. Marvin wrote in his diary, "I couldn't stand that guy, not because of talent, but because of how he made people lose control. One close encounter was enough." Marvin described working with Peckinpah as walking a tightrope in a storm, unpredictable, and any creativity could be crushed under the director's pressure and drunkenness. Michael Ritchie was the second name who exasperated Marvin completely. In Prime Cut 1972, Marvin played a gangster hunting human meat, an opportunity to showcase his ad-libbing. But Ritchie stuck rigidly to the script, forcing Marvin to act line by line. Marvin hated the feeling of being constrained, especially when he wanted to adjust scenes based on his own impulses. The sensitive scene with Sissy Spacek was the last straw. Marvin refused to shoot, calling it absurd and crude. He wrote, "The man understands nothing about acting. Everything became rigid foolish. I cannot work in this environment." Furthermore, Marvin found Burt Lancaster unbearable. On The Professional's 1966 set, Marvin often drank, excessively slowing production and stressing the crew. He did not deny his own unprofessional behavior, but considered it part of being a real man, not a perfect actor, but a man living truthfully. Burt Lancaster, a big star, perfectionist and powerful, could not stand it. Marvin wrote, "He had the eyes of someone who wanted to control the whole world, and I, with all my stubborn ego, clashed with that." The fight between Marvin and Lancaster on a mountain nearly became physical. According to Marvin, Lancaster wanted to throw me off the mountain in anger. Everyone watching felt the tension about to explode. Marvin admitted I was drunk, I know, but he stressed me more than anyone I've ever met. This was not long-term hatred, but a clear example of how Marvin felt pressured by top stars, those who wanted to control every tiny detail. Marvin also recounted reconciling with Lancaster. They did not become friends, but the tension eased. "We understood each other," Marvin wrote, "not because of friendship, but because both of us are too big, too stubborn to yield a step." Marvin looked back and realized this was the kind of relationship he always encountered. In Hollywood, a powerful star, him, with a stubborn personality, and conflict was inevitable. Meanwhile, Gene Hackman appeared in Prime Cut as another shadow that irritated Marvin. Hackman had just won an Oscar for The French Connection, and the press praised him endlessly. Marvin, despite being the lead star, felt overshadowed. He wrote, "I do not hate Hackman, no. But I was irritated by the sudden fame of that guy. I felt like the light was shining on someone else, and I had to struggle to reclaim my place." Marvin described moments standing next to Hackman on set, feeling as if Hollywood's spotlight leaned toward the younger man. He won the Oscar. Everyone loves him, and me, I have to prove I am still the main man, he wrote. The jealousy was not hatred, but the helplessness of seeing natural fame surpass experience and personal style. Marvin's diary was not just a record of scandal or professional conflicts. For him, it was a way to analyze himself and the world around him. Hollywood full of stars, power, and simmering envy. The fights with Lancaster, or feeling overshadowed by Hackman, were proof of his philosophy: live truthfully, create authentically, and never let anyone eclipse your essence. To understand why Marvin became so blunt, look back at his tumultuous life. Every legend has a starting point. Lee Marvin was born on February 19, 1924, in New York City, into a wealthy but turbulent family. His father, Lamont Waltman Marvin, was an advertising executive and a World War I veteran, while his mother, Courtney Washington Davidge, came from a prestigious Virginia family with deep Southern roots. Despite this background, Marvin's childhood was far from peaceful. He was expelled from several schools due to behavioral problems and anxiety traits that later became raw, challenging energy in his on-screen characters. Marvin's life took a different path when World War II broke out. He joined the United States Marine Corps and served in the Pacific Theater, fighting bravely at Saipan. There he was shot and sustained severe physical and psychological injuries. Marvin carried these scars for life, which not only testified to his courage, but also profoundly shaped his worldview and acting a sense of having witnessed life and death closely, a realism that could not be faked. After the war, Marvin received the Purple Heart for his service and sacrifice. Returning to civilian life, he wandered before finding his path in acting. Starting humbly as a plumber's assistant, he gradually moved to the stages of northern New York, where acting came naturally to him. Marvin's deep voice and commanding presence quickly made him stand out, attracting audiences and directors even in minor roles. In the early years of his career, Marvin often took supporting roles, villains, soldiers, or tough guys. Even in small roles, his charisma was undeniable due to absolute authenticity. He did not pretend to be tough. He truly was, and this created a major difference on screen. These roles paved the way for his breakthrough in the late 1950s and early 1960s with films like The Wild One, Bad Day at Black Rock, and The Big Heat, where his intensity and menace left an unforgettable impression. However, it was his performance in Cat Ballou, 1965, that cemented Marvin's legendary Hollywood status. Playing Shalene, a drunken gunman and evil twin, he demonstrated unexpected humor and won the Oscar for Best Actor. This role was a perfect endorsement to Marvin's talent, both fierce and self-mocking, cold, yet humorous, showing that beneath his tough exterior was a man unafraid to ridicule himself. Throughout the 1960s and 1970s, Marvin became one of the quintessential leading men of American cinema. He starred in classics like The Dirty Dozen, Point Blank Hell in the Pacific, and Paint Your Wagon. Each role bore his personal imprint, strong, profound, and deeply realistic. Whether as a hardened soldier, a vengeful killer, or a reluctant anti-hero, Marvin consistently brought a realism few actors could match. Collaborations with directors such as John Borman and Robert Aldrich further showcased his versatility. Marvin could be brutal, contemplative, humorous, and heartbreakingly human, all in a single role. This complexity and authenticity created the Lee Marvin brand, a Hollywood icon, fierce, yet subtle, rugged, yet emotional. Off-screen Lee Marvin was as complex as the characters he portrayed. He was known for bluntness, austere living, and even stubbornness, which often put him at odds with Hollywood's glamorous image. But Marvin was more than a drinker or hothead. Those who knew him noted his deep intelligence, loyalty to friends, and a subtle humor that often surfaced amid his sternness. Marvin always valued truth above diplomacy. This sincerity earned him colleagues' respect, even if his rough exterior made a strong first impression. Alongside his commanding presence, Marvin had an introspective side, often showing quiet contempt for pretense vanity and Hollywood superficiality. Thus, he was both a screen icon and a man truly living beyond the spotlight. In his final years, Marvin remained active. He appeared in films like The Big Red One, 1980, and Gorky Park, 1983, despite declining health from years of smoking and drinking, yet his screen presence remained formidable. There was something timeless in Marvin's demeanor, a presence mixing the wild spirit of the West with the weary soul of a veteran, allowing audiences to sense both strength and vulnerability simultaneously. Marvin's personal life was also complex and dramatic. His biggest scandal was the palimony suit with Michelle Triola, often called Marvin v. Marvin, one of Hollywood's largest scandals in the 1970s, attracting global media attention. Lee Marvin lived with Triola, a 1932-born actress and singer from 1965 to 1970 in Malibu, California. Though unmarried, Triola changed her name to Michelle Marvin, gave up her singing career to act as his common-law wife, managing the household cooking and accompanying Marvin based on his promise of lifelong financial support. When the relationship ended, Triola sued Marvin for $1.8 million, equivalent to half his income over 6 years, plus $100,000 for lost career opportunities, launching the concept of palimony in U.S. law. The trial lasted 11 weeks with testimony from Hollywood friends, including Valerie Harper, proving Triola had no music career success before living with Marvin. Triola claimed Marvin promised to take care of her forever, but Marvin denied it, calling it a joke. The trial also involved infidelity allegations. Triola admitted an affair with a photographer in 1969. Marvin's lawyer, Mitchelson, argued it was an oral contract, and the California Supreme Court upheld the principle in 1976, paving the way for over 1,000 similar cases. Ultimately, Judge Arthur K. Marshall denied Triola's property division request, but required Marvin to pay $104,000 to support her career rehabilitation, the equivalent of 2 years' maximum singer salary. Marvin called this a complete victory, while Triola and Mitchelson considered it a legal win. He admitted, "Everyone lies, including me." The lawsuit heavily affected Marvin's reputation. While marking him as a Hollywood love drama icon, it also brought new career opportunities due to media attention. Michelle Triola died in 2009, but Marvin remains widely studied in cohabitation law, becoming a key part of the history of unmarried couples' rights. Marvin also married twice, each marriage reflecting different stages of his career and personality. His first marriage to Betty Ebling in 1952 began when Marvin was a struggling young actor, taking minor TV and low-budget film roles. Betty, calm and warm, stayed through difficult years, raised 4 children, and helped him stay grounded as he moved into bigger roles. However, growing fame, a busy schedule, long trips, and Marvin's heavy drinking placed great strain on the marriage. His on-screen strength and stubbornness also made cohabitation difficult. After 15 years, they separated, divorcing in 1967. Though apart, Betty remained someone who understood Marvin's complex nature, and the children remained central in his life. 3 years later, in 1970, Marvin married Pamela Feely, who had accompanied him for years before officially marrying. Unlike his first marriage, Marvin was now a respected Hollywood star, and Pamela, elegant, intelligent, and strong-willed, provided rare stability in his life. Despite his temper and drinking, Marvin maintained deep affection for Pamela, who stayed loyal through all trials. The couple lived in Tucson, Arizona, later moving to coastal Mount Kisco, New York, before settling in Los Angeles. During these years, Marvin appeared less on screen, but remained a strong presence in Hollywood. He continued to embody the rugged, subtle, and authentic Hollywood persona, a model of a man living truthfully both on and off screen. In December 1986, Lee Marvin's health declined severely when he was hospitalized for over 2 weeks due to complications from coccidioidomycosis, or valley fever. This infection occurs from inhaling coccidioid spores common in the arid southwest U.S., particularly California and Arizona, where Marvin frequently filmed or lived. For most, the illness causes mild flu-like symptoms. But for Marvin, with weakened immunity from years of smoking and drinking, it developed into a serious respiratory condition. His lungs, already damaged, made breathing difficult, and doctors prescribed steroids to reduce inflammation despite risks to his frail body. Side effects from steroids quickly appeared. Marvin suffered a severe bowel rupture, a life-threatening complication requiring emergency surgery to remove part of the colon. The operation left him weakened and in prolonged pain, with slow, complex recovery. A man who had bravely survived war, risky stunts, and heroic roles was now fragile. Friends and family saw the once robust figure reduced to a thin, hunched form with a hoarse, weak voice, though his resilient spirit remained in every gesture and glance. Despite illness, Marvin faced the final chapter of his life with the steadfast courage that had defined him. He never complained or showed weakness, even confronting danger or severe difficulty. Those close to him reported that he retained his dry humor and strong independence to the end, though his body could no longer keep pace with his indomitable spirit. On August 29, 1987, Lee Marvin died of a heart attack at 63. His passing marked the end of a Hollywood era, where leading men were expected to be rough, strong, and even crude, just like Marvin's on-screen persona. His death left deep mourning among fans, colleagues, and filmmakers who admired the authenticity, professionalism, and unwavering honesty Marvin embodied on and off screen. In his final diary, Lee Marvin did not hesitate to expose Hollywood's secrets and shadows, including Cary Grant, from questions about sexuality, close relationships to marital scandals, and private pressures. Marvin recounted frankly, showing that behind Grant's charming, elegant image, he also struggled with loneliness, public pressure, and controversial personal choices. These revelations not only offered a new perspective on Grant, but also revealed that Hollywood's golden era was far from perfect, filled with secrets, misunderstandings, and untold stories. What do you think about the lives of these two legends? Share your thoughts below. If you find these stories interesting and want to explore more Hollywood legends and their little-known secrets, like and subscribe so you don't miss future videos. Thank you for watching. And don't forget to leave comments about scandals or stories you want to explore further in this legendary cinematic world.